My name is Jim Hubert. Welcome to another show of Knowing Your Town. Tonight we have Jessica Kallin, one of our select board members. Not the newest member, she's a veteran now. And it seems it seems you moved to Ashby, and within 2 years you were elected to the select board. Can you give us just a bit? I mean, you haven't been in town more than, what, 3 years?
3 years this November.
3 years this November, and you're already at the top of the heap. What made you, where did you come from, if you don't mind me asking, and where are you going?
Great question. So I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, born and raised there, and my dad is actually from Connecticut. I knew I wanted to be in New England. And so when I was doing my doctorate, I distracted myself by anything but my doctorate and was applying for jobs and ended up getting one in Massachusetts. So my husband and I packed up and moved and decided to make our way out here. I think that the select board was interesting because one of my hobbies, I always say, is civic engagement. I really feel strongly that community is the foundation of everything that we do and really is the strength of the work that I do and what I'm passionate about. So I was looking for ways to get involved, having conversations with people and neighbors and getting to meet people. And it led to many people encouraging me to kind of seek this out and use some skills that I had. And I figured if I was of value, then people would see that, and if not, no harm.
They see that too.
Yeah, no harm if it wasn't a good fit. So I did end up running for select board, and then was elected and sworn in on my birthday 2 years ago. So I believe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
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 So that was within I think 10, 11 months of living here, I was sworn in.
Now, yeah, okay, you ran unopposed.
I did.
Which is scary. Because we don't have, Paul was unopposed, you were unopposed, so it kind of tells me how important this position is. Because there's a lot of people that just won't take it on.
I think that is kind of a downfall and a luxury of civic engagement and public service, is that you have to be able to have the time and the resources to volunteer. It is a volunteer position. And so not everyone has the time and the availability or the capacity, essentially, to do so. So it really is a need to be filled, and the system is structured in a way that really tailors to people who typically are retired or have the time, are already more ingrained in the community. And so I was really fortunate to have someone suggest that I look into the role, and happy to be here. I've learned so much, and I'm just excited to be a part of the team.
Yeah, I saw you the other night. Dave was on vacation, I guess, so you were in the chairman's seat. You did good. I'm sitting there saying, "Whoa!" It was well worth sitting in on that meeting. You kind of answered it, but I want you to go over it again, because question number 2 is, why the select board? Why did you go right to the top?
I didn't go right to the top. So I think what's interesting is that my background really is, like I said, my hobby is civic engagement, and my background really tailors around the public sector. I previously worked in refugee resettlement in Salt Lake City, Utah, both for the state office and then for a nonprofit. And that's kind of the trajectory of my career, and volunteering is between public sector and nonprofit.
What is your doctorate in?
Organizational change and leadership. So I did my dissertation research on strategic planning and implementing change in municipal agencies, so very relevant to the work that we're doing.
Do you give classes to the other select board members?
No, I should offer some free courses or something. But currently, I moved out here to build out and really strengthen an education campaign for the city of Haverhill. I'm launching a consulting group with the city of Methuen, so building out a strategy for Methuen with grade level reading as well. And then I work in Lawrence Public Schools, so very much public sector heavy, and really kind of centering around education, although I've never been an educator and I'm not a parent. So originally I was encouraged to run for an at-large school committee position, which was very intimidating because I think I was here for 6 months. It was at large. Ashby is the least represented within the school district. As you know, it's 3 towns, and I ended up losing by, I think, 70-something votes. It was a fun experience. I got to canvass, and from there, that's when I was approached about select board. So I didn't go straight to the top, but just wanted to contribute. I think that I have the time, I have the capacity, and I do have that background, and just wanted to be a value to the community.
That works for us. So that was good. What is it about Ashby that surprised you?
That's a good question. I think coming from a more city setting and then moving somewhere that is smaller town and rural, I think what surprised me is just the amount of woven in volunteerism and everything that goes on in the town. You really see a commitment to and dedication to keeping Ashby unique and the traits of Ashby present. I think that you see that in, you know, the band concerts over the summer, in the events and programming that the library has, in how many people participate in select board meetings.
We got the Smithsonian.
Yes.
That was just unbelievable.
And very incredible advocates and leaders and passionate people who live here. I think I knew that you would see that, but I just didn't expect to see how the thread of volunteerism would be such a strength.
Yeah. And pain in the neck sometimes. It is. But, okay, well then, how has Ashby changed during your time as a select board member?
Well, I know that my time both in Ashby and as a select board member is minimal compared to many other people that live here. But I think what I've seen really is a push towards more transparency and collaboration with the community. I think with the select board and with the town really pushing for more office hours and then inclusion, whether that's a digital equity plan, whether that's more library programming like Heather bringing in the Smithsonian and other individuals, and then also collaborating externally, so being part of regional collaboratives with other towns, looking at economic development, and really trying to address bringing in revenue while maintaining the essence of a small town.
Yeah, we made a film of the Memorial Day celebration on the Common, and her name escapes me now. What is our congresswoman?
State Representative Margaret Scarsdale.
Yes. She came here on a national holiday, on a federal holiday. She came here. What's going on? We're growing to the point that I don't even think people are keeping up with the growth in this town as far as like the Memorial Day celebration. The Smithsonian is here. We had Bunker Hill Day, and we're probably the only town in northern Massachusetts that had cannon fire. It was just unbelievable. We never did that before. Ashby, when it wants to, does it? I mean, do you see the powers behind the scenes? Well, you do, but are they more powerful now? I mean, I've been in town 20 years, and I'd say over the last 5 years, this place is different.
I think that really comes down to the community as a whole being really strong advocates. I think there are so many people who, over the last year, with different changes in many areas, have used their voice very proactively. I think that we have put ourselves on the map when it comes to our state and local delegation, and also the community events that are hosted. The bonfire every July, it gets bigger and bigger that I've seen. Halloween, closing down Main Street. People travel to come do that, and it's such a unique experience. And so I do feel like those strong voices and that community participation, along with that camaraderie in those events, really strengthen the presence that we have.
Thank you. Looking back on your term as a select board member, what accomplishment, one, are you the most proud of? One. I'll need a list.
I mean, I hold myself to a very high standard, so I don't know if I can say that I have accomplished, one thing to be super proud of. I think that ultimately being a part of the team and being able to contribute to creating systems that are more equitable, that are more transparent, that really will stand the test of time, and a strategy of moving us forward in lower taxes, more revenue, and then maintaining a small town. I think that collective effort of the select board, of the town administrator, and of the different departments is something that I feel is an accomplishment, not of my own, but is something that I'm really proud to be a part of.
Well, that answers the question. But you said something about lower taxes. Taxes never go down. Never.
No, but we don't want to consistently over time rely this heavily on property taxes. I think that there is a need, as we have such a bedroom community and such a high population of seniors, to look to different revenue streams that both support everyone in town and also maintain the small town feel, right? We don't want a big store coming in.
No.
And I think that consensus is here. And we hear that in our town meetings when people show up. I think that one thing that I'm hopeful to do over the next year is to encourage more participation, so we see more faces and hear more voices at our town meetings.
Now, you've been to these meetings at the library.
Yes.
I've never been to one, probably because I'm here, but we've never had that before.
The office hours.
The office hours.
Yes.
Do you find it always building on the growth of Ashby, or do you find it a bitch fest where people just complain?
I mean,
is it something worth going to?
Yeah, I think that every office hour is different, and everyone has a different, passion or interest or check-in that they would like to bring up. Sometimes people just want to come and visit. So I think that it really is dependent on who is hosting and when it is and who attends. I think that they're really helpful, not only to talk about topics around town in an informal setting, but also to be accessible. We know that not everyone can Zoom into the meetings, not everyone can attend in person, not everyone is emailing their thoughts or participating in public comment. And so I think if we create a system that is providing many different methods of formal and informal ways to engage and be part of the decisions of the town, I think that benefits everyone.
Yeah, but it's never been done before here.
No,
So it's like
I will say that is one thing I'm proud of working to implement.
Ashby is growing up. We're 300 years old, and then we're finally growing up.
We want to be very inclusive.
Yeah. So do you consider Ashby, I'm going to use the term, more modern since you've been on the board?
I don't know if I'm to say that. I think that we have created systems that are more easy to understand. I think that
more accessible is the goal, and I think also creating modernized ways of communicating that so everyone has those clear expectations. We want to ensure that it is equitable and that it is not specific per participant. And so I think that creating those systems, like I said, I go between public sector, nonprofit, and focus around strategy. A lot of that is looking towards creating systems that can be duplicated
that are clear and consistent, so 5 years from now, we know how we got here. I think that one thing that we know for certain, though, is that nothing is set in stone, so the way that we're operating now is based on feedback and what works for us now, and what works for us later could change that. So I think that's why being accessible and being inclusive is important, so that our government system and our town system represents what people need.
Town meeting. Were you surprised how little participation there is in town meeting?
I was, and I think that's why my hope for the next year is to get more faces and more voices to participate. I think that, like I said, it can sometimes be a luxury to participate in local government, both knowing when to show up or what the topics are, what's going on, and it takes time. It's time to physically get there, it's time to understand, time to have those conversations. And so I think that it's a taken for granted that everyone can participate. And so I think it is more discovery needed on our end, what the barriers are and what we need to address as challenges and opportunities to get more people to feel that they can show up.
All right, I got another question. It just popped into my head, and I'm curious. We are a town, and it's been this way for quite a while, but we're a town without a finance committee. How does the time to, as a select board member, when you review a budget, does it change when it's not coming from a select board, from a finance committee, versus coming from the town administrator?
So I think what's unfortunate is that there have been less people interested in participating in that committee. Over time, we've had some resignations. So if anyone is interested,
oh yeah,
please reach out. The budget process is a lot, and it's intentional in the way that it's structured, both to be transparent and provide information to everyone who's listening in to town, but then all the other different departments as well. So the process is long. We've expanded it a bit each year that I've participated, which is 2. But yes, I do believe that it is a different process, having those checks and balances balanced differently.
Well, I'm going to keep on going on this finance committee thing. Do you have to be an accountant to be on a finance committee?
No, and I think that that's why we have people who we compensate for their time and expertise in those roles to be able to provide those budgets. We have the department heads who manage their budgets and provide that information. What we need are people who are passionate about the town, who want to, ensure transparency and accountability and be part of a collective process that is looking at how we are spending our dollars, what that means for the town, and there can be a learning curve. I think that that's how these positions go. I didn't know everything about culverts and other things like that when I came on, and I think that you grow into the role and you learn what you need to learn, and I think that's what's really needed in those types of positions.
Speaking with Paul last night, because he's a returning select board member, I asked him, a couple of questions on, how much different is it now than when he was a select board member in 1995? And one of the biggest things we discovered is none of the town running was computerized. None of it. I can remember sitting at select board meetings when they had a secretary doing shorthand notes for the meeting, and then she'd have to transcribe it, type it out, and that became the minutes.
It's a lot of work.
Oh boy, I tell you, it was very strange.
Yeah.
And when she didn't show up, or she got sick or something, it was like, what do we do? But we were recording it. We always had the cameras, or at least since cameras were around, I think. Okay. Last question. are you planning to run again?
That's a great question. I think that no matter what it looks like, I would still be involved. I think I'm really passionate about making Ashby better and being a part of the community in doing so. I think that there's also a place and time to step away to have other people engage. I think diverse voices and perspectives bring new ideas and innovation to the table. So I'm not sure what that looks like. I definitely have no intention of not participating, but I'm always open to making room for the next voice.
Wow.
There's no ego in this work.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is, okay. I hope you run again, though, at least another term.
Yes, well, at this rate, I might be unopposed.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know.
Wouldn't it be a great thing if I wasn't, though?
It depends on from whose point of view.
I mean, it benefits the town, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, I guess. Okay. Thank you very much for coming in. We're going to do this again and again and again as time goes by. So thank you very much, and that's it.